Good Wednesday morning, everyone. Hope you're doing well. We've got a little bit of a developing situation with an upcoming opponent to talk about, and I usually don't step on pregame stuff in the middle of the week. I usually don't, but I think this is a situation that merits a little bit of midweek acknowledgement because this could have a big impact on a game that will be played with the Seahawks trying to save a little scrap of hope this season. So the Rams have been hit with COVID. They've been hit hard, and it is possible, not guaranteed, but it is possible that they will be negatively affected for this upcoming game. They had some negative effects in their game against the Cardinals just now, and it is possible that they will experience even harsher negative effects in this game. It's a little early to say that because, according to Sean McVay, every player who got infected, or, well, I shouldn't say infected, tested positive for COVID recently was vaccinated. So, a couple people were asking, because obviously this is all that people want to talk about lately because this is significant. This is a big deal. The Rams can't really get into any kind of trouble for playing their game on Monday night with so many players having positive tests come back because everyone was vaccinated, if that is true. And second of all, because all these players are vaccinated, they can possibly come back as soon as like 2 days after the positive test. They need two positive tests in a row, or excuse me, negative tests in a row. So it's too early to say if this is actually going to affect the game, but let's take a look at the potential damage here. So OBJ is the headliner here. He was one of the players who tested positive. The rest of the players include mostly guys who don't play very much, if at all. Terrell Burgess, Bryson Hopkins, Juju Hughes, and Alaric Jackson don't really play, I don't believe. Jonah Williams and Tyler Hall are practice squatters. However, Sebastian Joseph Day is a key part of that defensive line, and Jordan Fuller's been getting decent work as a safety this year for them, so those would be significant losses. And these guys, by the way, are added to the list with Darrell Henderson, running back, Rob Havenstein, offensive tackle, cornerback Jalen Ramsey. I don't think I need to tell you guys that those are crucial parts of that team, and Deontay Dion, who, well, he plays a little bit for him. So, pretty significant list of players. A lot of these guys are fairly anonymous. They're not a big deal, but Darrell Henderson, he's part of that running back rotation. Rob Havenstein, starting right tackle, good player. Jalen Ramsey, one of the maybe the best cornerback in the game. One of the best defensive players in the game. Maybe their second best player after Aaron Donald. And OBJ was starting to become a more important part of that team. OBJ had a good game against the Cardinals on Monday night in their very crucial win. So this is a significant list of players that the Rams may be looking at not having for our game, and that changes things significantly. Again, we will be keeping track of this situation as the week goes on, and it's very possible that in a couple days we will learn that everything is good to go and the Rams team that we will be getting is the team that you expected to get. However, this is certainly a window. It's a window that didn't seem that open to us before, but it is opening a little bit wider. The thing is, I can sit here in my chair and say I don't think the Seahawks are going to make the playoffs because I don't. And to be clear, the reason why is because even if we win out, the odds are actually still technically against us. It is actually become statistically unlikely, not improbable, but unlikely that the Seahawks make the playoffs if they win out. And of course, if they don't win out, it's not even worth talking about. I think there is some scenario where we can lose to the Rams, win our last three, and get in anyway, but it's so small. Like, really? We're going to talk about that? Like, I'm not. I guess you guys can if you want to. But anyway, The team is a different deal. The team can't look at things like that. The team has to go out there this Sunday thinking to themselves, okay, I got to give it everything that I got because this is the last chance to save the season. If you don't win this game, it's a lottery ticket. You're playing the Powerball at that point. So this team needs to be taking this game more seriously than any game they played this year. This is literally a playoff game. This is literally a playoff game. It is win or plan your vacation for mid-January. Couple that with the fact that we have this developing situation, which, look, the Rams are a better team than us. They have more talent than us, but this is shrinking that, right? You look at the Rams, you see a relatively top-heavy team. They've got the best defensive lineman. Well, I don't know if he is now, but he's up there. They've got the best cornerback. They've got one of the best receivers now. I mean, Cooper Kupp basically turned into Jerry Rice. I don't know when that happened, but I guess it did. It's a team with a lot of talent, and at this point, we can safely say they have more talent than us. And I still think they are a better team. They have better coaching. They still have a lot of talent, even with all these potential players missing. Like I said, Cooper Kupp, Matthew Stafford's had 2 good games in a row after struggling for a bit. It seems like he's got things together a little bit. Still got Leonard Floyd, Aaron Donald, still got Von Miller. It's still a good team, and I would still probably say they're better than us. But that margin, it shrinks with something like this. You're taking away a lot. And not to mention the fact that this is... Look, I know a lot of my viewers hate the Niners because the Niners have been good more than once over the last 10 years. The Niners are Russell Wilson's greatest foe. They're the team he always beats. They're the team that we outdueled to go win a Super Bowl in the NFC title game. I know you guys hate the Niners, probably, a lot of you guys, but for me it's the Rams. Because when I was first really getting into football, 2003, 2004, 2005, the Rams were the team. They were the team that we needed to beat in order to become great. And then we beat them finally and became great. So, to me, the Rams are always the most rivalistic of our rivals. And I probably just made up a word, but... I mean, what have you done today? I just made up a word. What the hell have you accomplished today? So, I'm looking at this game. I'm seeing the desperation, the fact that we have to have it to keep our hopes alive. Because again, like I said, I'm just sitting here. I can say I don't think we're going to make the playoffs even if we win, but the team has to have a different perspective. They have to look at this as, okay, we have to win to keep our chances alive. Trust me, it's different. I've kind of given up, but the team can't give up. They're obligated to go out there and fight until there's nothing left to fight for, and then keep fighting anyway because that's what they're paid to do. So, combine that with the fact that it's a heated rival, it's a revenge game, all these things, you might see me in a space later this week, before this game, where I'm actually sitting here and I'm thinking to myself, we should win this game. Short-handed Rams team, we're fighting for our lives, last chance. Heated rival, revenge game, knocked us out of the playoffs last year, injured Wilson earlier. Like, we should win this game. So, yeah, this is a big deal here because I may still end up feeling this way. A full-strength Rams team, I would have gone into the game kind of thinking to myself, well, the talent is too much. The talent's too much. We can be as fired up as we want to be. We can be as motivated as we want to be. It doesn't matter. We can't cover Cooper Kupp. So how are we going to win? We can't block Aaron Donald. It doesn't matter how motivated we are. We can't block Leonard Floyd. Whatever. So we'll see how this develops. But things are kind of coming together for these Seahawks. And before I go, I want to address one more thing here because I bash this team like nobody else. I say a lot of negative things about this Seahawks team, but something like this really highlights how well this team, this Seahawks team, has handled the COVID thing. Because however you may feel about COVID, whether or not you think it's the worst thing ever or insignificant or somewhere in the middle, whatever you may think, it's a big deal for the NFL. If you get COVID, you miss games. If you spread COVID among your team, you hurt your team. You cost your team games. You cost your team's opportunities to win. So the fact that this team over the last 2 years has done a extraordinary job of keeping a lid on COVID. No breakouts. One player has missed games. Gerald Everett missed 2. Hats off to them. I don't praise this team for much, and in a way, it's a little sad that this team wasn't able to do something with that advantage. We might be the least affected by COVID team in the NFL. We might be less affected by COVID than any other team over the last 2 years. Even going back to last year when we didn't have any meaningful players sit the season out. Like, we had Chance Warmack, woohoo. But, nevertheless, we've handled it well. And because the NFL does think that COVID is a huge deal, regardless of whether or not you think it is, because I know people have different takes on the severity of COVID and whether or not it's as big a deal or it's not as big a deal as it should be or whatever, it's a big deal to the NFL, and we've done a phenomenal job managing that, and I do want to give this team credit. And looking at a situation like this where the Rams really might be down 4 or 5 starters and a couple other key depth players because of a COVID breakout, it kind of makes you think we've been really lucky, and we've also managed this really well. All right. See you guys later. Go Hawks. Let me know what you think down below. We will monitor this situation as the week goes on.